Hello, everyone, and welcome to the EUPATI public webinar about the launch of the Digital Health Module. My name is Zhana Popova, and I'm the EUPATI Patient Engagement Training Coordinator. Today, I'm very happy to moderate this webinar and to present an overview of the newly developed EUPATI Digital Health Module. Patients' involvement in the development of digital health has become an important aspect of the patient engagement field. The development of digital health is growing rapidly, and it is expected to embrace patient engagement and to increase its capacity for meaningful collaboration with patients. Understanding the latest developments in the digital health field allows patients to take informed decisions about their healthcare and quality of life. While this is still challenging, there is an emerging consensus that patients should be involved in the development of digital health. EUPATI provides training about medicines research and development to patients and patient representatives. Recently, we have expanded our content to digital health as a response of this growing need. EUPATI, supported by EIT Health, funded project with partners from Bayer, University of Oxford, Medtronic, and University of Copenhagen, established multi-stakeholder approach for the development of a training module on digital health. This training module covers all different perspectives. It consists of 5 courses, and it is now available in the EUPATI Open Classroom platform. EUPATI Digital Health Module presents an overview of the digital health field, its regulatory framework, classification, and impact on the different stakeholders. The module might be helpful to address increasing considerations for patient engagement in the digital health sector and to share better understanding about the role of the different stakeholders. The main purpose of this webinar is to present the multi-stakeholder approach and an overview of the working process in the creation of the EUPATI Digital Health Module. We want to share about best practices of patient involvement in the digital health sector and to promote a clear understanding of the regulatory framework, transformations, and challenges in the field. And before we dig in deeper in the topic, we would like to present a few housekeeping rules so that we have the most enjoyable experience for everyone. The first thing is that all microphones will be in mute. This webinar is going to be recorded and uploaded in the EUPATI YouTube channel. Also, we would kindly ask you to please put your questions in the Q&A box and use the chat box only for your comments. Please ask your questions to our panelists in the Q&A box. You can also raise your hand from the button below during the Q&A session, and we are going to unmute you and give you the floor to ask your questions. We may not have time to answer all your questions, but we are going to make sure that we monitor the chat and integrate your questions as a general outcome for this webinar. Also, you can upvote a question if you have the same in mind. There is no need for repetition, and you have unlimited options to upload questions. And finally, we would like to encourage you to be active and to ask your questions, and let's make this webinar as interesting and engaging as possible. And without wasting more time, we would like to introduce you our wonderful speakers for today. These are Joanne Jordan, EUPATI Fellow and Patient Expert, Ingrid Weindorfer, Project Officer at EPF, Dr. Terry Pizzo, Chief Medical Innovation Officer of the North Estonia Medical Center in Tallinn, Sabrina Gray-Jowl, Project Manager at EUPATI National Platform in Italy, and Laia Bisbal, EUPATI Open Classroom Coordinator. Welcome to all our speakers. It is really great pleasure to have you here today. And this is the agenda for the webinar and the order of appearance of the speakers. And now, without wasting more time, it is our great pleasure to introduce you the first speaker of the webinar, Joanne Jordan. For Joanne, the patient's journey started when she was enrolled in a clinical trial, and following this, Joanne wanted to know more. She didn't want to stand on the sidelines cheering researchers on, she wanted to be involved. Joanne followed the EUPATI Patient Expert course and never looked back. And according to Joanne, EUPATI constantly educates with new content and gives opportunity to make things better for patients in general. Joanne, thank you so much for joining us today. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much for having me here today. It's a huge honor. I'm really humbled that you've asked me to speak, and the fact that EUPATI is generating new content really makes my heart happy, and let's go with the slides. Thank you. So you very lucky people are getting to have a look inside my head today. This is actually my MRI, and I got a copy of it. The copy was given to me on a CD a year or two ago, and as you know, not many people have CD readers on their computers anymore. But things like that, digital health is moving on. We are getting access to our own MRIs. I had my first symptoms when I was 22. I lost sight in one of my eyes, and I actually didn't get diagnosed for 14 years. And the reason I got diagnosed was because of an MRI. So while I'm really, really appreciative and grateful to MRI technology, we as patients need to keep pushing. We need to keep saying it's not good enough to get the MRI on a CD. Why do we have to travel to a major city to get results? Why can't we get results digitally? Why can't we be sent our own MRIs digitally? So that's basically how I did get diagnosed. It was a long time waiting, and technology did help me get diagnosed. Now, anytime that I work with EUPATI, it's always a great honor, and I take it very seriously. So I think that when I was working on this project, I did a bit of homework, and the World Health Organization gives us this information which we can recycle about what digital health investments actually should do. So the 4 pillars really are to address a health need, to not duplicate existing digital tools or systems, to be appropriate to the local context, and then also to account for long-term costs. Now, I think the most important thing really for patients is to address a health need, so that we are asking for what we want, what we'll need, what will make our quality of life better. And digital health is really, there's so many improvements being made every day, but we can play our part as patients in this. So basically my motivation for being involved in digital health is that I want better healthcare for everybody, not just myself. It's for everyone, everybody in the world, not just a certain sector of the community. I do live with MS, but it's everybody, and it's just so exciting how digital health is moving forward so fast. So there's my brain again, showing off. It says from the side this time. So what I did in the project, I helped in the content development process by reviewing it as a whole and ensuring its consistency. Now, it really does take a village to develop this content. So I don't think people realize how many people give their time, give their expertise on this, on developing a new material. And I brought all the components together, and was quite brutal and got a kind of a consistent view. So it helped me to merge the various perspectives into cohesive and consistent content, which is very important because all the EUPATI material is consistent. So like all the EUPATI modules, learners are given a balanced and independent opportunity to understand and discuss the major classifications in the field of digital health. The field is a really exciting one, I think, and we are stronger together, and really would recommend anybody who is interested in the field to download all these modules and to learn as much as they can about all the aspects. Now, many moons ago, I studied software engineering as my primary degree. I actually studied software linguistics, computer linguistics, which is quite very interesting now these days with AI. Things have changed so much. So my background as a software engineer has helped me to develop material to educate about the classification and the impact of digital health and examples of AI. And like I was talking about my MRI, getting access to my own data easily in my own home. These things are important to me and they need to be expressed. And at the end of the day, you need to produce what patients want and need to ensure better outcomes. So some of the major pillars that I wasn't familiar with before include regulatory framework and the legal aspects. So that was really educational for me. So that's it. I'd love you connected on LinkedIn and hope that you enjoy the module, that you take a lot away from it, and thank you, EUPATI.
Thank you so much, Joanne, for sharing your interesting insights and for sharing your story as a patient representative. We highly appreciate your work on the module. Now we would like to introduce the next speaker for the webinar, and we actually want to share the different perspectives from the field of digital health and why actually we started to work on this topic and to connect it with patient engagement. Next speakers which are following were not as much engaged in the content development as Joanne, but they play a significant role in the development of new digital health solutions and the different projects in the area of digital health. So it is our pleasure to welcome Ingrid Weinwerfer. She's a project officer at the European Patients Forum, where she works on a multi-stakeholder initiative, Data Saves Lives, as well as European projects such as EUPATI and H2O. Ingrid holds a degree in European Public Health from Maastricht University and has previously worked at the German Corporation for International Cooperation and Empirical Communication and Technology Research. She works with EPF centers around advocating for meaningful patient involvement in healthcare decision-making and using data to improve health outcomes. Ingrid, welcome. Please turn on your camera and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jana. Hi, everyone. And thank you for EUPATI for inviting me today. So I would like to introduce you to our Data Saves Lives initiative. So yes, Data Saves Lives is a multi-stakeholder initiative led by the European Patients Forum. So we are the secretariat of the initiative. And our goal is to raise a wider patient and public awareness about the importance of health data. So to improve understanding of the topic and also to establish trust and an open dialogue about the issue of health data sharing. So as you can see on the slide, we established the initiative in 2019, but due to COVID, we mainly focused on our online presence. And then in 2022, we had our first in-person bootcamp, which I'll talk about a bit later. In 2023, we held our second bootcamp with more to come in the future. So as I said, the Data Saves Lives initiative is part of European Patients Forum, EPF, which is an umbrella organization representing 78 patient groups over 19 countries. And with Data Saves Lives, we are able to focus on various areas of digital health, including to help drive recruitment in clinical trials, to support the development of patient registries, and to help foster a relationship between patients, patient representatives, patient organizations, and industry partners. So now I'll just tell you a bit about how we raise awareness for these important topics. So first we have our bootcamp training events that I mentioned earlier. So the first one took place in October 2022 in Prague. And this one was about Health Data 101. So we talked to the participants about their key challenges and questions that they face as patient organizations. So for example, questions about GDPR and also the European health data space. And we equipped them with practical tools and tips on how to advocate for this topic of health data and how to have an informed dialogue with their own communities. And in March 2023, we had the second bootcamp. This one was in Lisbon, and it was a bit more advanced. So it was about artificial intelligence. And here we went through basic principles and terminologies and also governance and legislation on AI. And upcoming, we will have our next bootcamp probably in December in Brussels. And this one will be on patient registries, so how patient organizations can establish patient registries. So we also have our online presence. One point is the webinars. They are called Data Saves Lives Coffee Chats or DSL Coffee Chats. So here we bring together 3 to 4 experts to discuss hot topics around the health data space. And for example, we've talked in the past about the role of governments in tracking population's health and also the importance of patient-reported outcomes. So we also are very active on social media. For example, we have our tweet chats. Here we also have 3 to 4 experts who talk on topics that are chosen by our community. And additionally, we also have our blogs and case study series on our website. And here we hear from patient advocates, health data experts, and those working within the medtech field on a range of different topics. So from tackling misconceptions around health data to how health data has been used in research. And we also have specific case studies as well. Then we have the toolkit, which can also be found on our website. And this equips patient groups and other stakeholders with a lot of information and materials that they need to hold a dialogue around health data in their communities. And also it provides materials to potentially launch smaller health data initiatives. And currently we're working on the Toolkit 2.0, so that should be coming sometime this year. We had a lot of feedback from our patient community on what else could be included. So that will be also found on our website at some point this year. Speaking about launching your own health data initiative, I'm happy to highlight Data Saves Lives Germany. This is the first offshoot of the main campaign, and it provides patient organizations within the region, so within Germany, with translated information and materials. So everything is in German in this case. And it's more targeted to their communities and the specific challenges that this community faces within health data. And the Netherlands has also expressed interest to have their own DSL initiative, so we're working on that currently. So if you or your organization, or if you know any organizations that would be interested in launching their own health data initiative, then please gladly reach out. We would love to support you and help you with that if you are interested. So we were happy to see the new module on digital health that EUPATI has launched. I think Data Saves Lives really links well with EUPATI's new module, because we as Data Saves Lives, we put a really big emphasis on education and training for patient groups. So I think by providing these practical tools and the tips on patient advocacy and to have an informed dialogue, it's really one of our emphasis as Data Saves Lives. So yeah, I think it can be a great tool for that, the new module. And I'm excited to see how we can collaborate in the future as well. So yeah, all of the materials that I've mentioned, you can see on the Data Saves Lives website and also on our social media. And if you have any ideas or anything you would like to share through our different channels, please gladly reach out, because we often have guest authors on our blog, for example, case studies, so anything that you might want to publish and you think kind of matches the topic, then yeah, please get in contact with me and we can talk about that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ingrid, and thank you so much for sharing also about the very interesting project, which is Data Saves Lives. We would like to ask you, if you have any questions to the speakers, please put them in the Q&A box, and we are going to have a short Q&A session after all presentations. So now it is our great pleasure to welcome the third speaker for today, Dr. Terry Pizzo. She is a Chief Medical Innovation Officer at the North Estonia Medical Center in Tallinn. Terry is responsible for the coordination of cooperation with other hospitals, clinical partners, and international organizations. She worked from 2003 to 2018 at the European Commission on Digital Health, Tobacco Control, and Risk Assessment. Before joining the North Estonia Medical Center, Terry was the head of sector on e-health and aging policy in the European Commission's DG Connect. In 2014, she was the EU Fellow in the University of Southern California, where her research was focused on the obstacles which hindered the introduction of e-health in the healthcare system. Terry also has a diploma in medicine from the University of Tartu. Terry, welcome. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and congratulations to the EUPATI team as well as to all other speakers before me for putting it all together and doing this huge work which is so much needed. I remember in 2014 when we launched the Eurobarometer on digital health literacy, then we were wondering, should we do it differently on digital literacy and then on health literacy, but thought that perhaps the best overview of what we are looking for we could get through the digital health literacy Eurobarometer, and we learned quite a lot there already at that time, and I can't imagine, it was actually 9 years ago. We found that as a result, 6 of 10 people 9 years ago were using regularly internet to look for health information. My first slide is describing the current situation about the connection to internet. It is from DESI. DESI is the digital index which is collected throughout Europe on different aspects. And I took only one table from there to demonstrate that even in these countries, which are at the lowest level, like in Bulgaria, it is the closer to 80% of people who are using internet regularly, which demonstrates the I would put my question on, are we really talking about the digital divide in the way as it is often presented, or we should take an advantage of the fact that people like it, they use it, and we should help them to make out of it the best. And I think that this module is very much supporting the possibility to get the best out of it. So I will demonstrate on the example of Estonia of what is that what are these elements where we have all kinds of digital health information, some of which are accessible to patients, some of which are created by patients, some of which the healthcare professionals do not have an access. However, all of them contribute to this patient pathway, the patient engagement, the value-based healthcare as towards the personalized medicine where we all want to get one day. So I just listed here the biggest parts of it and tried to combine them. For example, this area on the right upper corner, loyalty cards. There is a lot of information about us, what we generate in relation to our health and well-being, but we have no clue of who is looking at that or how they can be collected. But I think we should take also the step further and think how this information could be brought to understanding of what the health and well-being really can bring if this data will be used. Or just below it, the patient portal, information about the health, all kinds of medicines, which is available in Estonia for all citizens. That information is, I remember when this was launched, then almost everybody visited it and looked what is there about me. However, nowadays people don't use it in the maximum possible way. Sometimes some people know how to do it, but in order to understand how to use it, I think that all kinds of educational module would become very, very useful. So that is only a small picture of everything that could bring the added value. And if we could use this information in the right way, both by the citizens, the patients, the relatives, the healthcare professionals, I think that would bring us really to the 21st century healthcare. Just to summarize what we do in the hospital where I work, in the North Estonia Medical Center, we have quite a lot of digital tools. Actually, I noticed that I have forgotten 2 of them to put here. We have a very good e-ambulance. I I can't say it's project because it's not a project anymore. That's the routine work, because we have a lot of people living in the remote areas and living also in the small islands where not necessarily healthcare is accessible at the easiest possible way. So the e-ambulance that links the patient via the digital tools to the hospital emergency department doctor is very helpful. Or the telescope project that we had to help the patients who have already been out at home and who would need a connection with the doctor or nurse. These tools have been demonstrated very useful, not only for the patients and healthcare professionals, but in particular for relatives. The e-consultation, which would help to reduce the waiting list and the waiting queue and help also some patients to get faster to the specialist consultation. The televisits, how can I say, not thanks to COVID, but actually that's how we all were forced to start using the tools which otherwise perhaps we were not so eager to use about, like televisits, where using the Teams environment or Zoom environment, depends, we are using the Teams because that is also allows us to authenticate the patient and identify, so we know exactly who we are talking to have the visits from a distance so that the patient does not have to travel, which is excellent example of the patient-centric approach. And in particular, our psychiatrists like that tool, and it is very popular among them. Also, no physical need anymore for that. We also have the online support for oncology patients. Again, how to best use this tool, which is an interactive platform where you can describe your problems using a little bit of artificial intelligence to improve the situation. If you don't have the education and the training and the knowledge on what is what about the trust, what about the cybersecurity, how to use the best the tool which is meant for improving your health and well-being. So what I would say, I very much welcome this module to be available. I would invite everybody to look at that and to take the best benefit out of it so that we could all get better to this process well prepared.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Terry. And thank you also for sharing about the healthcare providers' perspective, which is always very valuable to hear. Now we would like to go and invite the next speaker of the webinar, and we would like to introduce the national perspective and to present actually how digital health is implemented on local level. So that's why it is our great pleasure to welcome Sabrina Grey-Joel. Sabrina is a health coordinator and had a degree in pedagogy. She has been a clinical tutor for the nurse training program at the Faculty of Medicine and Surgery at the University of Turin. In the past few years, she has been training health workers, including organizations and logistics. She is expert in public engagement in the healthcare field. Sabrina is also a professor in different universities in Italy, EPAL ambassador, and from 2022, she is a board member of the Italian National Platform and also a EUPATI fellow. Sabrina is a coordinator together with Giuseppe Reccia and Sebastiano Fileto of a training course for patients and caregivers with the main purpose to become experts in the digital technologies for health. She is also a PhD student at the University of Turin. Sabrina, welcome. The floor is yours.
I thank you very much for this opportunity to present the training for patient and caregiver expert on digital therapeutics in Italy. Okay, so I don't have any conflict of interest. I would like to introduce my personal and professional experience as an expert patient EUPATI co-partner on digital technologies training in Italy. I'm involved in a lot of work group at national level, and starting the next 23 May, I will participate in the new project entitled Digital Therapeutics 2024, Opportunity for Patients, Medicine, Healthcare and Country System, promoted by the Sweet Foundation and FADOI. FADOI is an important association of medical doctors in Italy. The training course for patient and caregiver expert on digital technologies has been realized by SmithKline Foundation, Uniterma Sapienza University of Rome, and Accademia del Paziente Esperto EUPATI as national platform on the EUPATI. Giuseppe Recchi and Sebastiano Filetti are our partners on this course who represent SmithKline Foundation and Uniterma Sapienza Rome. Before this last project, a previous digital therapeutics for Italy was being promoted by SmithKline Foundation and Fadoi with the aim to create a position paper which EUPATI was represented by expert patient. In the slide, you can find the message more important for us from point of view of patient and caregiver in Italy. Next. What is the urgent problem for Italy? The last third position of Italy in this index for human capital on digital knowledge. In fact, the main reasons are, the first one is to sensitize to people, citizens, patients, informal caregiver, and volunteers at digital technologies for health, in particular during the COVID pandemic. Telemedicine, teleconsulting, telecare, etc., has been created by engineers and described by healthcare professional worker for patients without a specific training with a dramatic impact on daily life for the person who didn't have any digital knowledge for using these tools. The second one is to sensitize the decision makers, including the medical doctor and the care, on evaluation of digital competencies of patients and before the prescription of the tools. The third is to better understand the security, beneficial effect, and quality of process to creation and production of digital tools, including the digital therapeutics through the clinical trial. The objectives are related to acquire the knowledge, experience, and skills to participate as a project member, team members in research and developing new digital technology for health, like ethical committee and scientific board. What are the expected results? We have explored some important topics like security, privacy, clinical trial, example of digital technologies, digital therapeutics, taxonomy and guideline, for example, NICE and FDA, and ethical impact of digital tools on daily life, like, for example, ChatGPT and artificial intelligence. The key performance indicator of the first edition of course are the following: 19 hours of lesson, 2 webinars on digital therapeutics, 53 patient and caregivers expert on digital technologies for health certified by Uniterma Sapienza, 39 project work elaborated by each patient and caregiver, 15 experiences on involving patient affected by chronic diseases in research group, and 5 webinars organized and promoted by the patient and caregiver expert on digital technologies, included on all Digital Weeks program at the European level. What are the next steps of short term? 2 surveys involving the 53 patient and caregiver experts in digital technologies in order to update the content of course and to understand the level of involvement of patient and caregiver working group. Summarizing my presentation, I would like to share with you our experiences as scientific board and to inform you that we are working very hard to offer the second edition of course. We are waiting your course in English and national language because we need to spread the digital knowledge for everyone, in particular during the European Year of Skills 2023. Thank you very much, and I pass the word to Gianna.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sabrina, and thank you also for sharing about this example from Italy. It was very interesting to hear about it. Now we would like to focus again on the EUPATI Digital Health Module, and I would like to invite the last speaker for today, our dear colleague Laia Bisbal. Laia is the EUPATI Open Classroom Coordinator, and she's going to present a live tour of the Open Classroom platform and how actually you could access the Digital Health Module if you're interested. So Laia, welcome. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so you could walk us through the open classroom.
Thank you, Jana. So welcome everyone to this webinar, and thank you for all the speakers. Now I'm going to explain a little bit how the open classroom works so you can get the best out of your learning, but also your experience through the platform. So here we are in the learning page. Here you will find different information. For example, here a document on how to get the best out of your learning, information about EUPATI, but and the courses that the platform offer. And here you will find a video tutorial explaining all, also what I'm going to explain now. So if you have doubts in the future, you can access to this video that's available on YouTube. So yeah, this is the landing page. Here you will find the about page where you will find information about the EUPATI's mission and yeah, other activities that EUPATI also does. And then we will go to the patient expert training program. Here you will find information about the patient expert training program. Please note that the digital health module is not part of the patient expert training program, but well, here you will find all the information. The next one is the FAQ page, where, well, you will find all the most common questions. If you have any other questions, you can also access the button here, help, and we will be happy to answer your questions. Then you will find the glossary, where you will find all the different keywords that you will find along the learning. In case you would like to do some research, here you can do that. Also the same with the EUPATI toolbox. Here you can access the EUPATI toolbox that will connect to the EUPATI main page, and here you can find some information that can be helpful. We also added recently this accessibility resources page, where you can find some useful information, especially for people who are with visually impaired. So some resources that may be helpful. And so yes, and now let's go to the main reason why we are here, that it's the learning catalog. Here you will find all the learning content in the EUPATI Open Classroom. You will find the different modules. Yeah, the reason why are we here today is this one here, the Digital Health Module. And in this module, you can find all the different courses that compose this module. Let's, for example, access the first one, Introduction, Classification, and Impact. The content is free of charge. You could even access all the content without being registered, but we highly encourage you to register. So then you can have access to your dashboard, to your profile that I will explain a little bit later. But yeah, just highlight that the access to content is totally free of charge. If you would like to obtain the certificate of the course, you would have to enroll through this button here, and then you will go through the payment option. And then here, well, you can access all the content. For example, here you will find the first page that explains about the introduction. So all the content is distributed in pages and books. And at the end of every course, you will find the assessment, that you have 10 opportunities, and the minimal grade is 7 to be able to obtain the certificate. So yeah, it works the same with all the different courses of this module. Then, as I said before, if you're registered, then you can access your dashboard. That will make your life a lot easier once you start your learning, and also here you can access your profile. Also highlight that you can use the magnifying glass in case you need to search for some content. Also, you can only access the magnifying glass if you're also registered. So yes, that's it. Now I can only say that I encourage you to start to access the open classroom, to investigate everything that you need to access the learning catalog, and see what can be interesting for you. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact us through the help button here. So enjoy your learning. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Laia, and thank you for organizing this virtual walk in the open classroom. Now it is actually time to hear from you, the audience. In this section, we are having a chance to discuss together with all the speakers what we have heard so far, and also to respond to some of your questions. So I would like to welcome back all speakers. And if you in the audience have any questions for our panelists, please put your questions in the Q&A box, and we're going to provide you with an answer. So far, I think there are no questions in the Q&A box, but we have a question for you. And we are going to start with Joanne, actually. Joanne, having into consideration all the different perspectives that were presented here, what is crucial for the proper involvement of patients in the digital health?
Can you repeat the question?
Having into consideration the different perspectives that were presented here, according to you, what is crucial for the proper involvement of patients in the digital health?
Okay, and I suppose the fact that I asked you to repeat the question is indicative of this. It's enabling patients who do have disabilities. My MS affects my cognition, it affects my speech, and I hate living with this, but when a question like that is asked and it can be repeated, I can have the questions in advance, something like that. So I think we can really work together doing things more patient friendly. Sometimes I get a bit overwhelmed when, you know, everything comes in at the same time. But the thing that I love about EUPATI is you can take the learning at your own pace. And the type of learner that I am, I used to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, do all my EUPATI work for the day in half an hour. And if I tried to do it in the evening time, it just doesn't go in. So I think it's that flexibility, really, and just listening, really listening to patients, because that's what really is the key to it, and us working together and communicating and just trying to make things better, not only for ourselves but for future generations. Thank you, Jana.
Thank you. This is really a great response. Thank you so much, Joanna.
Sorry for making you repeat.
No worries. And I can see in the chat there are a lot of comments from people to you that are really grateful for sharing your story and for sharing your insights on the development of this module. So thank you so much for that. Speaking about the patient perspective, we would like to go to the patient organization's perspective. And Ingrid, we have also a question to you. Based on your experience with the Data Saves Lives, how digital health impacts patient advocacy and the role of the patient organizations? What are your insights?
That's a good question. Thank you. I think we work a lot on digital health literacy. And that's something, it's a big topic in patient organizations right now, especially with the European health data space and everything that's going on the European Union level. So that's why as Data Saves Lives, we really try to create awareness around digital health and digital health literacy, and to include patients, make sure that we have the relevant materials available also in multiple languages, and also so the communities can use them at their own pace. As Joan also said, that's very important. So yeah, I'm excited also to be able to use the EUPATI module on digital health as a good tool for that.
Thank you. And sharing information and interacting together in the field is one of the key elements.
Exactly.
Thank you. We are not going to miss also the healthcare provider perspective. So Terry, back to you. We also have a question. How healthcare professionals and researchers are actually prepared to engage patients in the development of digital health solutions, and how that could be enhanced actually?
Well, actually, we have to also prepare the healthcare professionals to get engaged. So it's not so easy in both ways. And I think that whoever we are talking about, it is about the user-friendly solutions. That's the most important thing, that whatever you use, it has to be simple and you have to understand what is the benefit. It's very difficult to explain somebody to use something, to enter a data into some kind of system somewhere, when you don't really know what is happening with it and what it brings to you. I think if you know what it does, how it helps you, how you can work with this better, then it is much easier to start using it. But the same is with the doctors. If we will tell them that, look, we have here a wonderful digital tool, the first question is why. It's always the question why, and then comes the question how. And if it is useful and it is simple, it will work. I think everybody knows that VASE is a useful tool and it is easy to use, so we use it.
Thank you.
Two simple principles.
Yeah, and of course there are many things that could be taken into consideration, but the cooperation still should be something important. We have a question in the Q&A box, and I think it might be a question for all our panelists. Are you creating standards of the data modules, and if so, how patients included in this development? Maybe Ingrid, again, we could start with you.
So yes, patients are involved in Data Saves Lives. So we have the kind of forward-facing events where patients and patient organizations can participate. So the boot camps and all the social media activity, but also as part of the initiative, Data Saves Lives patients and patient organizations are included. So for example, for the creation of the toolkit, which is the main thing that we are working on right now, we have patients included to kind of help us with the content, what is relevant, which content is relevant, what can really help for patient organizations to actually create their own initiatives, because that's also something we are pushing. We don't just want to have this kind of overarching structure, but actually it should be on regional level as well in local languages and so on.
Thank you, Ingrid. Joan, are you aware of any creating standards of data modules where patients are actually included?
Yeah, I think, well, I'm sure that you don't recall it, but I had a slide up from the World Health Organization with the 4 pillars. And, you know, it's very important to reduce, reuse, recycle, that everybody is coming together on these, and that we work together, we cooperate. It's like I said, I used to be a software engineer, and projects start with user requirements, the why, like is the most important thing, and you need to check the whole way along that it is fulfilling the needs for everybody, not just the people who are very digitally savvy, because that's not fair. It needs to be accessible to everybody, and that's I think very important. So yeah, the standards, I think, you know, something like telcos, you have European standards, so why can't we have the same European standards for data in health? It is rocket science. So you know, having well-defined standards that are approved by all member states, and, you know, version controlled and updated as needed, I think, like all other areas of technology, that's the way it should be done and managed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joan. I can see one of the participants wants to talk. Angie, please unmute yourself, and I think you will be able to talk now.
Oh, sorry, that's okay. I didn't know if you all were familiar with the Digital Medicine Society, and if you're doing any collaborative work there for like digital medicine too, like software as a medical device.
Well, I don't know about the digital medicine, I have to say. I know, however, about the digital therapeutics. I think digital therapeutic is, in my mind, something different than the digital medicine, because medicine is a pharmaceutical and the therapeutic is something that you use for the treatment. So yes, of course, I am well aware of it. In my previous job, I remember these questions about all kind of how to measure the effectiveness and how to agree on the quality, and all these kind of requirements were quite a lot discussed. And I think in some member states it has advanced quite nicely. I know that there are digital therapeutics which are prescribed. Germany is in lead on that sense. But yeah, that is something that we have to discuss, because if we call it digital therapeutics, and in particular because it's a short version looks like DTX, like RX, which is the prescribed medicine, then I think there are some similarities. These digital therapeutics are something that are prescribed by the doctors for you to be part of your treatment process. I think that is something what we are living with more and more, and they are coming. Yeah, they support the way to make it better.
Thank you, Derek. Angie, if that responds to your question.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. John?
Yeah, I just wanted to make a quick point that I have a really neat app on my phone now, and I am a carer for my son as well, which doesn't really fit into the usual profile. But so we have a lot of medication in our family, and every month I come out with a huge big shopping bag full of medication for all of our needs. And the app that I have now, it's a complete game changer. I have each member of my family. I can select the medication. Sometimes even to go, oh my goodness, I'm on so many medications. Are these all necessary? You can go and bring it into your GP and say, what? Over the years, I seem to have accumulated a lot of medicine. So, and should I be taking all these medications? Can we review them? Also for say teenagers who invariably on the last day of the month say, "Mom, I need my prescription." I can take care of all that. I can set reminders, and then I don't actually have to wait in the pharmacy for a pharmacist to prepare the order. I can just go in and pick it up. So I think it's just a really good example of how something so simple really makes a difference, and it does save lives. I'm sure of that.
Yeah,
thank you.
Absolutely. Terry, would you like to comment?
Yes, I would like to add here, because now recently we are speaking more and more about this topic, which is called the reduction of medicines. And I would say that, at least in my country, we have noticed that there are many medications prescribed to the person by different doctors because of the digital prescription system, where all the medicines, whoever is prescribing them, go into the same system, to the same registry, and then you can see that there are many of them, and some are antagonistic, some are agonistic medicines, some are outdated, some are not relevant anymore. So we have even started a pilot project together with a pharmacist who have this kind of picture and say that, no, there is something wrong. We should do something about that. And in that project, they gave the recommendation to the GPs. Because some of the doctors, like surgeons usually, they don't prescribe much, but they also don't reduce much. I mean, not at all. They can only reduce something in your body, perhaps, amputate, but they don't usually reduce medicines. But it may happen that some medicines remain in your medicine list for too long, and sometimes somebody is prescribing something quite similar. And sometimes, we are treating the symptoms caused by previous medicine, so that we could just get rid of that medicine instead of starting treating the symptoms. So a good opportunity that digital prescription gives us.
Indeed. Thank you very much. Before we wrap up, we would like to hear also of the local perspective. And we have a question to Sabrina. Sabrina, do you think that this example that you presented from Italy could be implemented also in other countries? And what is the way to do that?
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much for the question. It's a great question. I think our experience could be implemented in other countries if there is an ecosystem which include patient, of course, patient experts, in particular, patient partner of the innovation, and of course, university, public authorities, enterprises, etc. It's very important to have a framework or general program and not only a single project to be implemented, and in particular a strategy to develop the knowledge on digital technologies. I agree with Ted.
Thank you very much. And now a question to all panelists, actually. How a digital health module and this kind of educational material is going to impact your work? Maybe we could start with Joanne, because you were already so much involved.
I think it's an ongoing impact, Jana, and it's not just for me, it's everybody here today is a patient, and it's ongoing. I'm very excited about the future. I don't think that we could have imagined the things that are happening today, and I really do look forward to the future. There are some things that we need to be careful about, such as data and privacy, security, but yeah, I just think that it's incredibly exciting. The fact that there's like so many people here talking today. Nobody had to get in an airplane. It's fantastic. So yeah, I'm very excited about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Speaking about data, Ingrid, what are your inputs?
So I think that it will hopefully really get a lot more people involved in Data Saves Lives, but also other initiatives, other patient organizations, local patient communities, because yeah, as long as we spread awareness and also skills and people feel comfortable talking about these topics and have also a safe space to talk about data, health data and digital health, which hopefully, yeah, EUPATI can provide with their module, patients will have the skills to, yeah, really be involved. So I'm excited to see if we can also get some new people to join us.
Thank you. Terry, what is the healthcare provider's perspective?
I will present this module at the next our hospital patient advisory board meeting to our advisory board. That consists of 10 different organizations, including the one Estonian umbrella organization. I think that they should be aware of it and make the plans how to bring it closer to their members.
Thank you. This is a great idea. And Sabrina?
Okay, for my experience, I think a different point of view. To be selected and involved in different kind of work group, for example, a scientific group for prototyping new technologies, scientific group to create a new position paper, for example, on digital therapeutics, on digital technologies in general. To be selected and involved in European projects as a patient co-partner expert on digital technologies. And for example, scientific production, because for patients it's very important to participate at scientific board in this case. And for my personal experience, was involved in all Digital Weeks program as a coordinator for Italy. There's a campaign European level for digital knowledge. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Now it is really time to wrap up and to thank our wonderful speakers for today. Thank you so much for sharing your inputs and your insights about digital health and for sharing about your experience. Also, we would like to thank the audience for joining us and being active in the chat box. We hope you have enjoyed this webinar and you have learned some interesting things about patient engagement in the digital health field. We also hope that you're going to be interested and you're going to explore the digital health module on your own in the open classroom. Our dear colleague Laya is here, and if you have any questions related to the digital health module, please feel free to contact her and also to contact EUPATI in general. And in EUPATI, we believe that the topic about digital health is very important, and we are going to continue to follow it up and to follow its development. So let's work together on this and let's disseminate the value of patient engagement. Also, we are going to upload the recording from the webinar today in the next few days in the EUPATI YouTube channel. And please check the EUPATI website and social media channels for any additional information about upcoming events or topics related to the digital health. With all that being said, I really would like to wish you a wonderful rest of the day, and thank you so much for your active participation. Thank you.